Welcome, guys, and welcome to the people who are watching this potentially in the future on the recording to this outreach event from the Civil Service Faststream. This is around being BAME, so Black and Minority Ethnic, on the Civil Service Faststream. There was 3 of us on today, so it's a really quick intro. I'm Aman Lai. I'm currently posted to the Cabinet Office in the EU Exit Policy Coordination team. Zahir, do you want to go next?
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Zahir and I'm currently a service manager for a chemicals program at the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs.
Cheers. Faith?
My name's Faith. I work in the Department of International Trade and I work as a business manager there.
Amazing, brilliant. Cool. So should we go on to the next slide? Cool. So as a really quick kind of overview around civil service Faststream, the Faststream is the flagship graduate scheme, or the flagship development scheme that the UK civil service has. It aims to basically make the leaders of tomorrow. So you'll be put into different postings, which will develop your leadership skills, your thinking skills, how you engage with people, how you work with different departments. It basically takes people of all different backgrounds and all different people with all different experiences and makes them into people that will very possibly go ahead and be directors, deputy directors, permanent secretaries, the whole lot throughout the civil service. In total, we have 15 schemes, each fall within a profession. So things like, for example, project delivery, finance, HR, commercial, also the generalists. So we're all generalists on this call. You'll be able to basically contribute to key government priorities, really fast-paced work, have a fair bit of fun, and all, deliver public service and make a difference to the whole of society. FSET, the Faststream Early Talent team, delivers targeted outreach to universities, groups, etc. So, for example, like this session, to gauge interest in the civil service, to promote it, obviously, and tell you guys more about it, and to really hammer home that we all come from different backgrounds, we all have different experiences, and kind of show the Faststream and how it can really develop somebody, and yeah, people can then meet the needs of a modern civil service. Faith, do you want to talk about the SDIP and EDIP?
Yes, so I took part in the Summer Diversity Internship Programme. So both schemes are catered to ethnic minority communities and also people from low social economic backgrounds. So the Early Diversity Internship, if you're on your first year, I think the application phase has gone, but please do encourage your peers to apply in the following years. Is aimed at first year students, and then there's the Summer Diversity Internship Programme, which is aimed at second year students. So the application window for these schemes tend to be between September to October or November, if I'm corrected. So please keep an eye out on this, share this amongst your peers, and also I encourage you guys to apply for these as well. As the diversity internship program gives you like a spring week insight. So I'm sure that the schemes are probably ongoing now for the early diversity internship program, and the summer diversity internship program, as it says in the name, is a slightly longer placement where you're in the government for 6 to 9 weeks. So yeah, very good. With the summer diversity internship program, if you perform really well, you also get entitled to a fast pass, which basically enables you to skip majority of the stages with the assessment process, so you move straight onto the assessment center. And of course, if the scheme has any additional assessments, I think, for instance, the economics profession, that probably will test you on your math skills, for instance. So yeah, so I really strongly recommend if you're at that year, that you should definitely go for these schemes.
Cool, thanks. Thanks, Faith. Cool. So we'll kind of talk a bit about our personal experiences in our postings and kind of what we've done, what we've seen, and just a general honest reflection. So we'll go in the order that's on the slide. So I will go first. So for context, I am a second-year generalist fast streamer. I've basically worked, rather strangely, across 3 departments in that time, including so my first posting was at Department for Transport. I then done a very short stint at DEFRA, so Department for Food, Environment and Rural Affairs, and ultimately ended up in the Cabinet Office working on EU exit. My experience of diversity kind of within the fast stream, within the civil service, has been one which is really good. So as you can tell, I come from a minority ethnic background. I never actually felt out of place in the civil service, and especially not in the Department for Transport. I think when I first walked into Great Minster House, which was the building, I was preparing myself to think that I'm going to be the person that stands out, as I have been before walking into other places where I've either worked or interned, etc. That completely was not the case. There were people of absolutely all backgrounds at DFT, and they have been, right across the civil service. Some departments are better than others. I know DFT is really good. HMRC is also really good. HMT, so the Treasury, and others kind of follow suit. In terms of kind of activities that we have for people and what we can get involved in, most departments have networks, so race networks. I was heavily involved in the DFT's positive support group. So that's the DFT version of a race network. And I helped deliver quite a few different events for people of colour that wanted to kind of see how they could progress their career, come together, share ideas, share experiences. And a really, really notable one was when the idea was floated that we would get all senior civil servants to have a diversity objective. Not just diversity objective that's on paper saying yes, it's a tick off one, but actual real diversity objective. I, along with another fast streamer, set up this conference, and we invited basically all the senior civil servants out of the department, so everybody from the perm sec to deputy directors on temporary promotion came and attended. It was a really, really good session, and we really got a lot out of it. It was a chance for people who, the PSG, kind of the network itself, to talk to these senior leaders and tell them A, what our experiences are, B, what they can do to kind of help us either overcome stuff like imposter syndrome, or where they can give us targeted support, and ultimately how they can integrate that into their diversity objective. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of me running around with a microphone, giving it to different people because they wanted to talk. I probably lost about a few pounds that day just because of all the running around. But ultimately, it resulted in a really, really frank conversation. And one of the best products that came out of it was the commitment that each directorate within DFT would have at least one person of colour in their management structures. And the reason why that's so important is because when you look at most kind of organisations, and civil services again is included in this, there is definitely a bit of a type in terms of skin colour, in terms of background within the senior ranks. Trying to move away and bring other people in will both kind of help inspire others who may think, I'm probably not going to get to the senior levels of civil services, there's no point. But it also allows for that experience to be shared within the kind of higher levels. It results in better policy making, ultimately better outcomes for the public. And yeah, my experience has been really positive at DFT. At the Cabinet Office and at DEFRA, I've again been involved in the race networks. It's certainly been a different kind of environment than DFT. DFT definitely placed more of an emphasis on this, and there's a lot that more departments can do to boost up engagement with people of colour, different activities, and the like. And one of the things I'm currently working on is creating a link between the Faststream BAME Society, or the BAME kind of I think it's the BAME Society, is it called? Somebody nod if it is. Cool. Yep, the Faststream BAME Society and the equivalent within the Cabinet Office, because they're two separate entities, even though Faststreamers all belong to the Cabinet Office. Work's ongoing, but there's definitely good dialogue and good conversation that's kind of going on there, including convo with Phil Wilson, so the head of Faststream and assessments. He kind of is definitely on board with this, and there's a real genuine push to have a much more inclusive civil service. So whilst there are some departments, some areas which can be slightly problematic, I definitely do think that good progress is being made, as I noticed the slides have disappeared. But yeah, so that's kind of my experience. Faith, do you want to go next whilst I try and figure out what's going on?
No, that's fine. You can figure out. I would go into my speech. So as I introduce myself, my name's Faith. I've made a few bullet points. I'll be looking at my screen if you guys don't mind. So I had a negative experience while I was in the Faststream. So during the Black Lives Matter situation that happened last summer, I remember, because we basically, as Faststream, is quite restricted onto what we can post on social media. I remember my talent development manager, so my manager at Cabinet Office, must have just sent me the social media guidelines, which was kind of, I found quite offensive, and I wasn't really sure how to deal with it. However, the Faststream has happily kind of produced a series of listening circles to listen to the experiences of people within the Faststream. So I was able to talk about my experience there, and hopefully there's changes that's being made onto how to communicate when kind of crazy events are happening in society. I have a lot more positive notes, so that was just one negative. In my host department, so I've been in the Ministry of Justice, and I'm currently in DIT. There's been a variety of BAME societies, so both within the Faststream and both outside, which have been very useful, especially during the Black Lives Matter situation, just bringing everyone together to be able to speak about our feelings and so on, and also try and use that as a means to create change within government policies and so on. I also find within the Faststream, they have a lot of specific targeted events. So say, for instance, trying to help us go up in the ranks. So they might have speakers who will speak in high positions, who will just kind of give us tips, which I find quite useful, because it's nice to know that there's people up there who are doing really well in society, and who I can look up to, because sometimes when you look up in government and senior positions, you don't see. So having those events to say, there are a few people is nice. And like I say, getting tips and events with them. In my previous department as well, what I really enjoyed was they had a series of lunch and learns. So it was to do with who am I. So people from different backgrounds, different experiences were able to talk about their different experiences in life. So say, for instance, one of my colleagues spoke about being a Black barrister before she joined the civil service. Another one of my colleagues spoke about the naturalization process. So just varied experiences. Another one came from a low socioeconomic background, and her brother was in prison. So she spoke about how that impacted her life and her career and so on. So it was just very nice to know that, there's a variety of people within the directorate, just getting to know people, and also as a means, to network with people, say, I've been through these experiences too. And not all of them negative, some of them positive, like maybe we're involved in the same program. So just as a means to get to know people better, just outside the work life. What I have done is I was invited to a meeting to speak with Boris Johnson to speak about my experiences of being Black in the UK. I use that as an opportunity to speak about what I think about policy, not involving a lot of stakeholders from different backgrounds. So I sat down and was like, I think this needs to change. We need to involve more stakeholders so that we're able to make accurate policy decisions. So that's what I've done personally. Hopefully he's listened to what I've said, but that was an amazing opportunity. I was invited as one of my friends who's a year above me in the Faststream is currently the Prime Minister's permanent secretary, and actually remembered me. She was like, this is an amazing opportunity. So there's definitely been a lot of amazing opportunities. And the fact that I guess a plus in the Faststream is just being around a different variety of people outside my background has definitely opened my mind a lot more, and just kind of learning things such as confidence and how people act has definitely been a rewarding experience. So overall, I've had a good experience on the Faststream, some negatives, but you know, I feel, you know, hopefully those experiences, as I've expressed them, could be hashed out and help people who are like me um, fit in to the Faststream and have a pleasant experience.
Cool. Thanks, Faith. That was super interesting to hear. Zahir?
So hi everyone. Apologies for disappearing earlier. Internet connectivity issues, and just one of the perks from working from home, I guess. So do apologise, Faith, Amanda, if I do happen to drop off or you can't hear me for any reason, just do shout, and I'm sure we'll figure something out. So yeah, I'm Zahir, and I'm currently a service manager at the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, which is quite a mouthful. We do tend to use the abbreviation quite a lot, as Aman would probably back up, but it's always good to explain what are acronyms, which are really commonplace and government actually stand for. So yeah, we're the people about the environment, food, and anything agriculture related. Now, in terms of my personal experiences on being BAME and a civil servant, I think they've been overall really positive. I have had a small career, a very short career outside of the civil service before I joined via the Faststream. And I can honestly say that in comparison to other workplaces that I've worked at, the drive and the commitment, and especially the focus at director level and higher operating level to improve diversity and the general outlook of staff within the civil service definitely surpasses experience I've had elsewhere. And just touching on what Aman and Faith have said, what I've definitely noticed is that the work that the civil service is currently doing in terms of promoting and diversity and improving that engagement across the board is definitely something material. And it's not just to show, okay, look, here we go, we're doing something about it, let's publish a report just to show how we're trying to be inclusive. But not only are we aiming to be the UK's most inclusive employer, we're actually going hand to mouth and doing something about it. And I think that's quite evident across all stages of the hierarchy. Again, in my host department as well, we have found that directors and those that are quite senior, that we refer to as the senior civil servants, are actually taking a big interest and pushing proposals forward that have a big impact on improving the diversity of the civil service. And it's just important to note that it's not limited just to ethnicity, but that diversity extends out to having fair representation from different socioeconomic backgrounds, different genders, and anything that pretty much comes under the umbrella of diversity. So it's not just BAME specific, even though today's session is, but I think it's definitely worth noting that we're branching out as wide as we can when it comes to promoting diversity. And of course, and again, I'm probably going to sound like a broken record for replicating a lot of what my colleagues have said, but one of the key drivers behind this is the influence on policy. Now, I mean, it's fair to say that we all want policies that represent the communities that we live in, and having that representation at senior level or in policy roles definitely hits home the fact that anything that we do introduce in terms of new policy, shaping policy, is representative of where we live. So, I mean, that's definitely something that I found quite intriguing, and how just an everyday Asian guy from Leicester can be quite influential in terms of how government operates and have some influence in the work we do. So yeah, I mean, it's been generally a very positive experience. The numbers based on observations do look like they're improving. What you tend to find is that the cultural differences, there are cultural differences amongst different ministerial departments, armaments bodies and other agencies, but there's a parallel amongst all of them in terms of work they're doing on diversity. It's currently better at certain departments compared to others. So I came from HMRC, where even though I was the only person from a BAME background in a team of about 30, you could see that across other teams and so on, there was more of a mix, and that was across different grades of seniority as well. I think what I found really astonishing, and I'm not exaggerating the fact that I found this astonishing, is that we had a director, so a mid-level director at the civil service that was Jamaican, with a very strong Jamaican accent, and that to me, I mean, I really felt like applauding that, because I've not seen that anywhere. The people that lead and direct the civil service are actual people. I mean, they're not the whole corporate, almost tailored into a certain way to be that way kind of people. I mean, we're everyday people, and these are people that are actually getting into these positions and having an impact on what you see happening every day. So I think that was really refreshing to see, especially at HMRC. We're seeing things, I mean, things traveling in the right direction at DEFRA, and it's an ongoing commitment that will take some time to change and implement, but a commitment nonetheless. So yeah, that's it from me in terms of my personal experiences. I think seeing as I'm going to be talking about some of the statistics, it probably just naturally flows a bit better if I just carry on. So what I've got here are the statistics showing applications and successful applicants by ethnicity between 2016 and 2018. Now, we haven't had any updated reports since this period that I currently have access to. And it's also worth noting that a lot of the push on diversity and bringing that into the civil service occurred, from my knowledge, beyond 2018. That's not saying that it didn't happen before that, but in terms of driving and really hitting home with it, it's definitely been something that's been more of a recent thing. So as we can see here, I mean, admittedly, the numbers aren't great. If we compare the number of ethnic minorities that are successful and look at and compare that against the total number of successful applicants, we can see pretty much year on year that the number of successful applicants from ethnic minority backgrounds are lower than those that are lower than the baseline average here. The numbers are increasing, but again, the percentages are in proportion to the numbers of spaces that we offer. And hopefully we do hope on seeing an increase in the percentage of ethnic minorities that we have joining the civil service Faststream. I think the numbers for government as a whole, so the civil service as a whole, are far better in terms of the trajectory that they're showing in terms of improving those numbers. So just to caveat that these numbers are specific to the Faststream, and it's events like these that we're hoping really to make a difference in getting those numbers up, generating that interest across people from a variety of backgrounds that are still within university or early in their careers, or just looking to make a career switch later on in life. I think what we're really hoping to do is just promote that is something that we're really looking to increase. And I think especially in my areas, when I was looking at graduate recruitment and going into any graduate schemes, I think I was often deterred by certain companies or organizations based on what I perceived them to be and what I perceived their work environment to be like, and probably questioned if I had actually fitted in, and saw that as a deterrent. So we're hoping that through what we've been able to demonstrate, we're able to bridge that understanding and yeah, of course, aiming to improve the number of applications and successful applications from a variety of backgrounds. So I hope that's been helpful. I know Faith is going to be leading on talking us through any of the questions that have been coming through. So I'll hand over to Faith.
So yes, feel free to add any questions. Zahir, I'm not sure if you want to share the slide for the feedback. So while you guys ask your questions in the question bar, There is a QR code that links you to a survey, so just let us know how we've done, and this will be used to feed into future sessions that we hold. So feel free to ask any questions. There's none in the question bar at the moment, but I'll give you guys a moment. I'm not sure there's going to be any questions, but I'll give you a few additional moments. But if you're happy to leave, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I know it's sunny next week, so hope you enjoy the sunny weather.
Just to know, if you guys have questions afterwards or didn't want to share them in the chat, or people are watching this in the future, scotlandoutreach@gmail.com. That is our shared mailbox between the Glasgow Outreach team. One of us will pick up your question or query and help as much as we can.
Hi Faith, it's Lynn here. There's a question: does the civil service offer a visa or help with getting a visa?
So I have attached a link to the frequently asked questions, so that should
Excellent.
help you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, policy on that. So I'm not sure the details, but it should help you and link you to the right policy. I think we should leave it at that. Yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
Okay, thank you all for
Cool.
attending.
Thanks very much, guys.